Good morning and sliding afternoon. Judy Allan here, San Antonio, Texas with Adventurous Stampin. And today it's all about keeping it simple or stepping it up with holiday boxes, alright? So we're going to be making our own holiday boxes, and I'm going to show you how simple that can be and how you can just step it up any way you want to, alright? So we are going to talk a little math. If you like math, like to work with math. If not, the other thing is you just get tutorials and it's got the measurements all there for you and you don't have to think about it. So there you go. Or you can ask me and I'll just tell you. How about that? So with that, let's go down to the hands and make the box, and I'll show you some tips and tricks because today we'll be working with some vellum that's got snowflakes on it. Alright, so let's do this. Alright, so we're going to be working with vellum. And so the thing about vellum is I actually did this one here on white just to show you, and you're really not going to be able to see any difference. Let's see if I can get you in the camera. I actually used on this one liquid glue as well as my regular tape runner, and you really can't tell any difference. Now I'm going to be using different colors, so we might notice that or not, but that is something to think about because when we're working with vellum like we are today, here's some vellum here, it's see-through a little bit, right? This one's sort of a milky white, but you'll still be able to see through it, right? You can see the snowflakes, see? So just showing you. So those are things you want to think about when you go to put adhesive on here and put stuff down. So that's what I want to show that to you. And this is too, these are some snowflakes here. And you could easily use dimensionals, but if you put dimensionals here, again, look how that's going to come through. So if I use this little six-sided here hexagon, then you know it's going to show through. So you want to find a spot that it won't show through. So you have to find something darker like this here, or you have to use another one. There is another snowflake one that's got white on it, so I actually put it on the white here, but this one doesn't have a lot of white, right? So this is going to show through, and you're going to see it exactly as you see it through this paper right here. Alright, so those are some tips and tricks you need to think about when you're working with vellum. Very beautiful. We're working with some brushed paper with some nice, I don't know if you can see the design on it. It almost looks like wallpaper, but it's designer series paper, or it's a specialty paper. And then we're going to be working with this also. So I wanted to get some matching cardstock to match the paper. Hello, Jennifer. Yes, if you're out there, be sure to say hello, because we do a drawing at the end of the month and give away some door prizes. So what I have done is I've done two examples to show you. What I wanted was I wanted the top of my box to be a 3x3. So when you think about that, at first when I did it, I just did an inch. I knew I was going to lay over an inch. So this is all scored. I want you to fold it so you can see it's scored. So originally, I wasn't really thinking my math through, and that's why I told you we're going to do some basic math, is I wanted a 3x3 inch square top. So when I knew I was going to make a 1-inch side, because that'll help hold the box steady, I sat there and was just thinking just one side. So I just thought, you know, if I did a 4x4, that'd give me down 3 inches. So the only thing is this is a 4x4, and when you look at this, that is not 3x3 inches. If I folded this way and this way, we would find out that really and truly this is a 2x2. Because if you're going to have a 1-inch side, which I wanted here on the sides of my box, then I have to remember that I'm going to have 1 inch this side and 1 inch this side. So when I took away these 2 inches, when I folded down, it left me with 2 inches. Alright, so I didn't think that through when I did it. But this would be a nice little box. If I was going to put like a little ring or a little something, little something in there for my princesses, I would. But I really wanted a 3x3. So I had to go back and redo my math. So I knew this portion I wanted to be a 3x3. Hello, Lourdes. I'm looking forward to us getting together soon. Okay, so I wanted this to be 3x3, and I still wanted my 1-inch sides. So I had to add 3 inches and add the 2. No, I was going to have an inch on each side. So that's what I've done here. Okay. So no matter what size box you want, however the big you want the box to be, you just then need to decide what size you want on the sides and add that to your center. But be sure to do it on both sides. And actually, if I had drawn it out on a grid paper like this, it might have helped me out too. I don't know. Who knows? You know, it's all about the given moment and time. Hello, Lexi. I miss you. I need to get you over here and create with me soon. I don't care what your mother says. All right. I still love your mother though. All right. So now we got to create our flaps. Okay. So it doesn't matter. You'll see where they cross right here, and that's where we're gonna cut our flaps. Because you know, if you look inside of a box, they all have flaps. So, but you want to cut in the same direction, all right? So I just cut that one, and I know the flap's gonna go in this way. So I'm gonna be sure to do everything. Make sure you do it all the same direction, right? It just makes it easier. So I'm gonna take that score line, and I did the same thing. So here's my flaps on this side. Now I'm just gonna turn it over. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. I'm gonna make sure my directions of flaps go the same way. And you know, I can't mathematically or scientifically explain to you why it works so well that way, but it does. So you just have to trust me, or go make your own box, do your own thing, and figure it out on your own. Okay, so I cut all these. Now the only thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to shave off just a little bit of a triangle here. It's not perfect. It just helps it to lay down a little bit smoother when you're sitting there and gluing this down. So I just sort of do it at a little, I just do like a little super skinny, like little triangles, what I try to do. You know what, if it's not perfect, it's okay, because guess what? It's going to be in the side of the box, and it's going to be glued down, right? Okay, so I'm going to do the same. Glued down, you can tape it, it doesn't matter. If you were going to tape it, and I don't think I have that here with me, there is a 2D, what we call a 3D tape, that really works better. I'm just going to use my regular tape runner glue, but it does work better. Okay, so this is going to be the top of the box, and then we'll talk about the bottom of the box. So as you can see, I'm just going to fold these together. I'm just going to put some adhesive here, and you're going to see that I have the top of the box, and I have my nice flush thing here. So for me, for the sake of speed, right? Half the time it is the need for speed. Keeping everybody on a limited time, because everybody likes the shorter videos, unless you got them on YouTube, and sometimes you don't. But anyway, all right, so that's all I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my corners just like this. That's all I've done. I've put the adhesive there. If that's too tall for you a little bit and you don't like it, trim it, all right? That's the small stuff. Ooh, I miss you too. So we're just going to go ahead and put some adhesive down all four corners. Now, if I'm doing it like this, it would have been easier to do the liquid, right? And actually, as I'm thinking about this, if you're going to sit there and decorate each of these four sides individually, you need to do that beforehand. And I really could have done the top of the box, and I should have, but I was too excited to show you how to do this and do the tips and the tricks, and that's what happens. I get on live and I sit there and want to show you the world in as quick as possible in our quick pace world, and then I'd sit there and do something. I really wanted to show you something else, but it's okay. The nice thing is I don't sweat the small stuff either, because all I know is I can come in and we'll make it right? Okay, so basically this is going to be the lid to our box, okay? Now, here's going to be the bottom of our box, and we're going to make it the same way. Now, the only difference is when I cut this cardstock out, and I'll show you with my my paper cutter. So when I told you that we were going to sit there and score this or that, so the box is the same, right? And these are the same sizes. You can see the center is the same. The only thing is when I scored it. Now, scoring is not cutting. Scoring is leading this indent you see right here, so I can fold it real easy. So instead of doing the inch like I just told you, let me show you up here close. So what I did is I lined it up to the inch, but then I just went what I call a smidgen over. So I was just a little bit across the line, but I wasn't to any other mark here, right? Just a smidgen, and I'll tell you why. The reason why we did just a smidgen is because this box is going to just be a teeny tiny bit smaller than the top, and therefore it's going to be easy for us to slide the top over the bottom. So that's what that is all about. Just a smidgen. I didn't have to do a 1/16 of an inch, an 1/8 of an inch. I just did a smidgen, and we're going to see how that's going to work for us, okay? So we're going to do the same thing on the bottom as we did the top, and then we're going to decorate the box. Now, so if you wanted a bigger box, then what would we do? We would just change the math. You would just sit there, and if you wanted a 5-inch box and you wanted a 1 inch like this, then you would sit there and just add 2 inches to that 5, right? Let me get that up. So that's why I said it's just simple math. You sort of have to sometimes think it through of what is your end result you want it to be. The other thing would be is if I wanted longer sides, then I have to allow for longer sides. Now, like when I was doing this and thinking about this earlier, I was thinking, well, what if I wanted longer sides? Well, a lot of that's going to depend on the top of your box, right? And you do need a little bit of color. I could have done these maybe at a 1/2 inch if I wanted to. Scored it, but then it would have made the top of the box larger, or I could have just made my sides smaller. So you sort of have to think with how you want your box to look. And I have a little one I made before like this. So you can make them any way you want to, but you have to sort of think about what do you want it to look like, right? So that's all you gotta do is make minor adjustments however you want it. So we're gonna go ahead and do these corners this time. I'm just gonna go ahead and put adhesive on them up front. And then we'll move on. And then we'll get to decorating. So actually, I'm gonna decorate the top. And many a times, you know, the paper itself is the wow factor, right? The paper and the embellishment. So you can see I'm lining up my corners again. So that's what I'm doing. I did some beautiful paper. I liked both papers, so I wanted to be sure to show them both off, and you're going to see that. And then you're going to see how it just is wow by itself. But then I'm just going to add a tag and a couple of things, and that's it. Okay, so there's the bottom of the box. Now, because I adjusted just a smidgen, it should come in here real easy and slide in and out. Let's see if it's going to be as easy as I thought. Okay, so it is. So if I had not, then it would have been really tight, right? Okay, so there is my box, and you can see it's just a smidgen smaller. Okay, so what we're going to do this is I've already pre-cut the paper. So this is the beautiful paper I was showing you, and I wanted to show off that paper right here, so that's what I'm going to do. So this is 3 inches, and I just took it down 1/4 of an inch. You take it down 1/4 of an inch, it allows you to show off the paper underneath. See, if I took it like this here and did 1/4 of an inch, see how you can see that? It's easier for you to see. So it's all what it's about is your paper. So I wanted to be sure, because this is where one of my special peeps, their favorite color is pink with blue followed by it, and it's that pretty baby blue, so it's sort of funny. It's cute. Alright, so I'm just going to put this on here, and then the other, so see, we're already going to get it going, and then here's the other paper. Now again, it says I wanted to be sure to keep this pretty paper I had underneath, and this one here, I just took it down 1/4 of an inch. So this is 2 3/4, and then this is 2 1/2. If you want to test me, show me. Just all I gotta do is put on my grid paper here, and you can see it's 2 1/2 because I got the numbers down. You can't see the numbers at the bottom, but there you go. So that's an easy way to sit there and measure. Now I had already done and checked out to see how this was gonna go, so I already know I'm gonna do this. The tape here. I could do the liquid glue as well. Either will work, right? So it's showing you that. So I'm going to put this just right here. And see, you can see already how it's shaping up as a bright, shiny, pretty box. Alright, I'm going to actually put a snowflake here right in the center. Now to make this really wow, where it doesn't take away from the paper and everything else, I am going to actually just add a dimensional. A dimensional will fit perfectly on the back of this, and it won't show through, and if I somehow did not place it correctly, then I would just sit up there and cut off the excess, right? But looky there, they designed it almost like they perfectly go to the snowflakes. So I'm gonna put the snowflake here, and I'm gonna put a tag as well. And I'm gonna put this right, I'm just gonna put it in the center, right? It's all about snowflakes, all making it really beautiful and wow. The other thing I'm gonna do, and we're gonna see if this is gonna work. This is a 12-inch, 3/4 inch strip of the same paper, but with just dots. Now the thing is because it's 12 inches, I am believing that it's gonna wrap around here just fine. That's my belief. And if it doesn't, then I will have to do something else. Okay, so that's 12 inches and I'm a little short. Okay, so the thing is I was hoping and believing that it would just easily, I'm going to try it one more time, just easily, if I tighten it up, wrap around, because it's 12 inches. Now you got to keep in mind, even though it's 12 inches and technically this should just be 12 inches, so if I really stretched it and pushed it, I could do that, okay? And nobody would hardly notice. So let's do it, because that's really what I wanted to do. So what I'm going to do here is you're going to have to work with this, okay? So if I leave this in one super long strip, that's the only thing about doing something like this in a super long strip is I have to either, I'm going to have to be super careful, right? Because I've got adhesive here. I'm wanting it to stick because it's a 3D project. And actually the liquid glue might have been oh, thank you, Nancy. Hello, Nancy. Thank you, Lourdes. And yes, Nancy, I did get my birthday gift. I think, I don't know if it came in while I was out of town or not. But yes, it is in. And yes, ma'am, I have it stuck in a corner waiting for my birthday. So I'm just going to, because I've got adhesive on this, I'm just going to tug it gently. And I'm just going to keep on tugging it gently. And the reason is I want it as tight as I can get it, because if I have it as tight as I can get it, I can use this 12-inch strip to go all the way around. Let's see if it's going to fit. If it doesn't ooh, looky there, looky there. So it's just a tad. I know my peeps aren't going to notice it. They're going to notice how pretty their box is, right? So is that it? No. I'm going to actually make a tag, and let's go see what it's going to do. This is, let me tell you what the width of this is. This is actually a 1.5 strip, and I used it on this punch here. This punch allows me to do 1, 2, 3 different sizes. And that's exactly why I did it, because I had choices, right? And it gives me a nice little tag topper at the top with a hole in it. So we're going to see if this is going to look too big. I think it's going to look too big. And it's okay, because then we're going to size it down. See? So I think it's really big for the size of gift. I think it's pretty. But what we're going to do then is this, like I said, this was 1.5 inches. Let me get my ruler here. Let me see what the other size is here in the middle so I know what size. Because you really need the paper just to be a smidgen smaller how this measures. So this is 1 inch. So I just need a smidgen smaller so it really easily slides in there. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off, because I don't need a super big one. I just need something to put a nice little message, holiday message on it, right? So I'm just going to cut this down. Let's see. First of all, I'm going to cut it down this way, which I think that'll be a nice size tag. And if not, then we'll have to come back and do it again, right? And we already know it needs to be a smidgen. There's a smidgen, right? There's my 1. Here's a smidgen. So really, it's really more like a hairline difference, right? Call it whatever you want. I call it a smidgen. I guess that's just because I call it. I can't tell you why I call it that. I just call it that. And I usually just go ahead. My trick is just go ahead and cut it from this way versus the other, because I can hold it down. And that way it stays in place. And let's see how this is going to work for us. If not, then we'll have to cut another tag, right? So let me just show you how this works, and let's see how easily I can do this, because this is pretty small. Alright, so see how easily it's going to slide in here now? Let's see if it's too short for me to push with my finger. So you can see here it's really small, and I can't really feel it anymore. See? I was hoping I could do it just easily for you, and I can't. But what I can do, so normally I would have a longer piece, right? But because Alright, that's just not going to work here. Just a second here. I'll do it another way. Alright, so when all else fails, I like the size and length, but what we're going to do is, because I need a longer piece, right? So it's going to seem wasteful, but it's okay. I'll make it work and I'll come back to it. So what I'm going to do, because you can see the paper, it just sort of swallowed it, right? So I'm just going to cut this at roughly 4 inches, but I'm going to have to size the width down to a smidgen under 1 inch. We'll do a redo. Now see how I moved that? That's why I said if you sit up there, if I had done what I said a while ago. So it's perfectly in place. You could use a post-it note, but usually if I make sure my cutter is way down here and move it back that way to it versus coming this way, it usually will stay in place and doesn't move on me. So okay, so I've got a longer piece here, and that way you can see me push it in here and we'll cut it. Alright, so I'm just going to do this, and I have my tag. So the only thing about it not being as wide as the other is that, okay, I'm not going to have the roundness to it, but it'll be okay because it's going to be tucked up right under here, right? So there we go. Now, I'm not going to leave it that long. I'm just going to trim it, but I'm going to stamp it first. And so let's see what I have here now that I had to change my size. Joy will fit there, and so will Happy Holidays. Let's use the Happy Holidays. Okay, I'm just double checking my choices here. To you and yours this Christmas. Oh, we're going to use Happy Holidays. I could use Joy too, right? It could be either or. Either or. Let me put this down. And then I'm going to use this pretty ribbon, because it's great for tying on things. So the other thing is, if your stamp is too wide, this is a D block, which is, I use this a lot. So the stamp is too wide, so I'm just going to put it diagonally. Alright? And the other thing is I normally would sit up there and heat emboss this, but since we're live and I wasn't going to do all that noise in your ear, we can do it another day, another time if you want. I'm going to just go ahead and get my Happy Holidays, and I'm going to just stamp it here so I can see what it's going to look like, okay? So, alright, so that is, and that's going to look pretty good. So this is, let me tell you what this is. This is a smoky slate. So that smoky slate looks really nice next to the silver. And let's see if I'm going to stamp off on my white sheet of paper over here and do the second stamp. Okay, so, I mean, it just depends how dark you want it. So I'm good either way, right? I just got some ink on the edge, so I'm going to clean that off. Granted, my peeps aren't going to care, right? All they care about is what's in the box. In fact, yep, I was going to say, first I was going to say they're almost trying to throw the box away, but nope, they're not, because it's beautiful, it's sparkly, and it has pink on it. So if you do this and you feel like it's not enough, then you can add whatever you want to add, right? So I'm just going to stamp it, and there you go, I got Happy Holidays. Now, it's like it wasn't quite straight, so I'll just do it again on this side. You know, I'm the only one that's going to care. They're not going to care, because all they're going to do is open that present as fast as they can to see what Nana got them or is giving them. They both have their ears pierced, so this would be a great thing to put earrings in. Great thing to put a matching bracelet in. So see, I'm just going to tuck this right under here, and I'm going to use this right here. This is nice and sparkly like the rest of it. And I'm just going to stick it through here. And I just need enough to tie around that right there, right? And I can trim it off. So let's just go right here, and I'm going to do that. And it's just nice and sparkly. I like it because it's nice and sparkly. Okay, so I'm just going to come around here, and then I can trim this as much as I want, and we have a box. So like I said, you can make it as big or as small as you want it. It's math, right? If you don't want to do the math, let me know. I'll do the math for you. I love math. You know, that's why we do PDF tutorials too. So for those people that do not care to do math, don't have to. And see, I can just easily now tie a knot if I want to. I most probably will. I just want to try to do my old school. Let's see here. We're going to do left over right. It's a square knot, right? Tie it however where you want to do it. It just depends where you want that snowflake to be. And then I'm going to do right over left. And that is your basic square knot. And it just looks cute. So there you go. So you can leave it like that, or if you can make it tighter and you want to make it tighter, you can do that too. But it's all about fun, and I can trim this off if I want to. I can add bling and do anything I want. So there you go. Just a nice, simple little box that we made, and it can easily be made bigger. In fact, if I did it, I might would still even trim this down a little bit more, maybe something smaller. But that's okay. That's for another day, another time. I could use just the word joy if I wanted to. So with that, I hope you enjoyed that. You see, it's not that hard to make a holiday box. You can make it a holiday box. It could be any kind of box, right? I just used some beautiful paper and made the base part of it and decorated it. So there you go. So it's all about, right? Creating, sharing, and giving. So go out there and create and share, and then turn around and give it to someone. Be blessed. Have a wonderful day. And if you're not following us, we would hope that you would follow us here on Facebook, but also on YouTube. And we're on Instagram and Pinterest. So the picture will be posted, the videos will be posted. It's all out there for you. So you can go back and make your box to give away. No excuses. All right, with that, again, be blessed. Look forward to seeing you next week for Keep It Simple or Step It Up. Bye.